Hello, I'm Chris, and this is my 64 through 77 Volkswagen Beetle sunroof video. So this appears to have a 100% intact sunroof. It got stuck probably 25 years ago, and I'm making this video because we're going to take everything apart slowly, look at the screws, we're going to look at the seals, direction of the seals, every little thing on this sunroof. If your sunroof is stuck and doesn't open, you're most likely going to break both cables. So don't get mad at the mechanic, don't get mad at somebody else, don't get mad at yourself. It's going to happen. So this is a parts car I bought. I have no idea what year it is. I think it's a 74. So the first thing I did was I came in here and I ripped the headliner out around here. As you can see, the handle was already broke. So the first thing you want to do is take the handle off. This little piece comes off next. You're going to go ahead and remove this. Be careful, it's threaded into plastic. These screws are special to this, so don't lose them. Wiggle that, drop it, and then you can pull it out. All I know about this piece is if you turn it clockwise, it'll eventually stop. So it has some kind of fixed stop in there. Please correct me if I'm wrong about that. I'm brand new to Beetles. And now you can see the two cables in there. This gear right here drives those two cables. To remember which direction, clockwise closed. So you close it clockwise and you open it counterclockwise. So there is nothing holding the sunroof closed right now, so it should be able to open. So this is the decorative cover with the headliner material stretched over it. I just ripped it off. You're gonna have these 5 clips. See this felt they put on the factory to hide those clips. I have to pull that back somehow and take these out. You're gonna reuse these, so don't destroy them. Okay, all right, let me go ahead and get the rest of them out. So they're all out. The reason I took them out is because we don't want them hanging on there and then get lost. So with that piece, 5 clips loose, you're gonna try to slide it back. Go ahead and rip the headliner off if your car's all nasty. It should slide back. Sunroof has 1 track, this has a 2nd track. Go ahead and just do whatever you can to get it all the way back in there. Okay, so whenever you're cranking this clockwise, you're pulling this cable that way to close it. And then it keeps pulling, and eventually pulls the slack out like that. And that's how your sunroof pops up. Same thing happens over here. It's pulling, and then pops your sunroof up. So you see that? Sunroof is popped up. It should look like that. The first thing we did was we unhooked this, and then it took the slack out of it. So now it has nothing to hold it up. And that's how come it dropped back down. But I want you to notice this right here. See how we're moving this piece? That's because these are both broke and your cables are stuck. So what you want to do is come over here, and this would be the ideal situation. Okay, and then you're gonna pull these out, and it's spring loaded right here, and it's designed like that so that you can free the sunroof. But my cables are already broke, so mine just pulls out like that. And you can see right there, that's all it's attaching, just this one side right here to the cable. We'll look at it here in a second. But if this was attached in there, you can see all this room we have to pull this out. So you would just pull that out like that, and now you're free. The cables are stuck. Do not move them, hammer them, or anything like that. You're gonna try to pull this out. See? Just imagine that didn't move. Get it out like that. So now the back of the sunroof is free. On the front, you have the 2 tracks. They're easily removed. Let's get them out. Push it up a little bit. Comes out. So the ideal situation is our cable's stuck in there, but we pulled this part out of that. My situation was my cable broke and just pulled itself out anyway. We have both of the guides on the front undone. You should be able to lift up and the sunroof should come out. It should come out super easy now. Okay, nothing's holding it in, 1 hand. So this is an expensive part now, so we need to take good care of it. Don't just leave it outside, somebody might steal it. So I want you to see, yeah, it's ugly on the outside, but this thing is super duper solid. It's not rusted out at all. Look at that thing. Okay, so notice the cable inside there. The cable is connected to this piece. The top track, the sunroof rides in it. So this one is free, it's just a guide. It unscrewed with 2 screws. This one is connected with the cable, so it should be in there super tight. Do not try to move it at all. My mistake was I started moving it around and jiggling it around because the other side had broke. That's how I broke both of them. This one was not broke at first. So the reason that this side was broke is because they did it. See how they warped that piece? It should be straight in line. just over the years, as this thing got harder and harder to close. I'm not sure how exactly that happened, but this one was already broken there. It was loose. So I figured that one was loose too. After the guy over there had just told me they were connected to the cables. I didn't know how. I honestly had no idea how they were connected to the cables. I thought they had a set screw in there or something, not just that. So now we can go ahead and slide this headliner piece cover back out. Do not try to bend this thing out. It does not come out yet. Don't destroy it. So I don't know what those little 4 squares were for. Maybe to indicate the color of the headliner. Snapped up to the sunroof and kind of closes like that. So now you just start unscrewing. This is the aluminum track. These are some plastic pieces up here. You got to be super careful with these plastic pieces because they are so delicate, they're going to start falling apart on you. So we're going to screw these piece by piece. So first off right here, these are the screws used for the track. There are 2 long ones like this, and then the rest of them are little like that. So you see the type of screw that is. And those 2, it's a machine screw. Get the cover off. This kind of hold down guide piece. So I'm not sure if this is a tensioning spring or guide or whatever, but so we have 3 pieces. So that's just a little plastic guide right there. There's nothing left holding that in. We just go ahead and take these 2 pieces off on both sides next, and then we're gonna take the aluminum tracks out. Put that sunroof piece back so you don't break this. So see those little barbed fitting pieces I was talking about? The 2 cables, how they ride through these tracks, they're stainless steel, and then this is an aluminum track. So you just kind of lift up, see how we're lifting everything out, and just kind of spread this out so you can get this headliner piece out. Okay, and then just try to, there you go, get that out. So when I remove stuff from cars, I keep every single thing intact, even this little square. So that's pretty much it. There's nothing else holding it. You pull all this out. This is part of it too. Oh my God. Why did it make that sound? They have to sell this piece. Still good. So then your aluminum tracks, stainless tracks, I see your cables. This stuff just all pulls out. So this sunroof was 100% stuck in there. It was rusted completely solid, and it took me probably 2 hours to get it free from there. I have some footage. Let's check it out right now. So this cable is so stuck in there. I'm having to knock it out like that, and it finally started moving a little bit. So I let it sit with oil, WD-40, all kinds of stuff. Finally, we're able to tap it out. But that cable being stuck right here in just this little section is what causes sunroof to be 100% stuck closed, and the reason we broke both of our cables. So I lubed everything up, and once you get everything free and moving, this stuff just comes apart real easy. So this one does not have any cloth in there, so you would just grease this with grease, grease the whole inside track in there, because that's what happened to this one. At some point that grease just disappeared. So here's the aluminum track on the driver's side. You can see nothing right here, and then it has some kind of weather strip material, I guess, going hidden under the roof, real thin. I don't know if they're left or right, but go ahead and mark them. One on top always is going to be for the sunroof. You can see how this bracket would have been connected like that. See, just that little bit at the bottom, all of that, that's the only place it's connected right there. That's why they're so easy to break off. So right here, you can see how rusty and crusty that cable was. It was completely rusted solid, about 6 or 7 inches, and it would not move. All right, so I want you to look in there, and you see that little plastic piece. Hard to focus, hard to focus. Look on the other side. There's a little hole right there. So on the actual body of the car, so that's the front of the car, the back of the car. These were little guides that were put on these sunroof tracks, just like that. Pay attention to exactly how that's in there, pointed inward. Okay, so I guess the screws would eventually align it anyway, but that's what those are in the back to give it a full alignment. So I don't know if this is just a sunroof car thing, but it has these rubber drains I'm not even gonna mess with them because I don't know how far along down they are. One on each corner. I tried to pull one out, but it was a lot longer than just right there. So I don't know if those go all the way to the bottom of the car. So everything's off, and if you've made it this far, you've stayed for one of the most important parts, the factory seals. This smaller seal is on the back. This bigger seal is on the front. Now I want you to see how the little puffy or seal part goes towards the sunroof. And then this part, the flat part, is glued, contact cemented somehow. And then the poofy part or round part goes down. This one is glued in a different direction. You see how they bent it and just cut it and matched it. And then look right here, we have another seal. As you can see what's left of it, and you can see where it is and where it was. That's still glued there, see? It's still stuck there. So one thing we almost forgot were these two little strips right here. They would have protected the headliner material, I'm guessing. So it's just like a little rubber protector. So there's like an indentation right there, see how it starts. So as far as the adjustment, you're gonna set it in there and you're gonna raise or lower these and then screw the guides back on to raise and lower it. So on the back, the height adjustment, see that little set screw? So you can raise and lower it. See, these are all the way up in the highest position. But you have adjustments to raise and lower the sunroof. I don't know what these little squares were there for. So you see how the back, it's barbed. It has a listing wire or a headliner bow in there, not 100% sure what they're called. And these two clips or guides, whatever they are in the back, I guess they're guides. I'm not sure. I don't know, just showing you what's on here. Another little fun fact is if you don't have a handle, the window crank is the same thing. See? What is that noise? Anyway, just let you know that. What is that freaking noise?